In the Right Podcast is a proud member of the Borellis Podcasters Guild.
His name is Curt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Right. It's the In the Right Podcast. Curt Fletcher.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's episode 29, In the Right Podcast with Curt Fletcher. My guest today is comedian Todd Johnson, who I've known for probably about 15 years or so. Super funny dude. Let's go talk to Todd Johnson. What's up, Todd Johnson? How you doing, man?
Not much. I'm doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah?
Not out on the road much these days, but
Yeah,
still getting a little bit of comedy.
that's good, man. And you're in Idaho, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right in southeastern Idaho,
Yeah.
where they made Napoleon Dynamite. So that's
Yeah,
nice.
Preston, Idaho, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What's it like living in that town?
Same thing as any other little town,
Yeah.
except for when people find out I'm from, Preston. They're like, "Do you see the llama much?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to feed it every other day." And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "No, he died 10 years ago." So, but it's when they made that movie, it was really pretty crazy because I was living over by Denver.
Uh-huh.
So when I came home to see my family and I walked into a convenience store, they had all these key rings and everything
Oh, I
built
bet.
for Pedro. And I looked at one of my friends because she was checking. I was buying a pop or something. And I says, "Do you guys sell a lot of this?" And she looked at me like I was stupid. She goes, "I refill this thing 3 times a day." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." And then I have the other question of, "How come you weren't in the show?" And I said, "Because I wasn't even near or far, and I'm glad I wasn't, I guess." But
Yeah.
then it's a huge thing for, like, if you go down to LA,
Uh-huh.
it's like one of those, they quote that movie all the time on other movies.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't a very expensive movie to make, and it
Yeah,
was
super low budget.
yeah.
Did you like the movie?
When they first I probably ought to just say no, but my mom got it for me for Christmas,
Uh-huh.
and she got my other 2 brothers one each, and I watched it with my mom. And as soon as I was done, I went, "They made $46 million on this piece of," and but then after that, I still can't watch it very much, but I see so many different things that are
Yeah.
nearby or whatever else, and like when
Mhm.
Uncle Ringo was shooting or throwing the football.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's
video he was making?
on one of my neighbor's places, and they've actually changed that into a big, huge, kind of a feedlot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's really interesting just to. I see a bunch of people that I know every once in a while, and I actually did a video because nobody ever had done anything with the guy that shot the cow,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I used to get that question all the time. "Do you know that guy?"
The old
And I
man?
didn't. Yeah. So I ended up doing a video interviewing him
Love that guy.
and sat down, and it's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
So it's like I videotaped, I don't know what it was, an hour or whatever else, and narrowed it down to 15 or 20 minutes.
Mhm.
There was a cat that walked right in. He hopped up on the table and walked right in front of the stupid show. And I wish I would have left that in there, but the guy's a really interesting character, kind of quiet.
Uh,
And it explains why he talks the way he does. And
Didn't he have a stroke or something? That's what I heard or read somewhere.
I can't remember if he had a stroke, but he got into a really bad tractor car accident
Uh-huh.
where the guy that ran into the back of him pushed everything up, and he ended up it crushed his whole vocal cords and
Oh,
everything
okay.
else, and so he wasn't able to speak for 3 years.
Wow.
So then when he was able to finally speak, it's kind of that sounds like he does have a stroke.
Yeah,
But when
yeah.
I did it, he was still like in the late 80s or 90s or something like that when I did that video.
Oh, wow.
So, and he didn't like to tell anybody in town that he was doing stuff because he had friends that was like, "Are you doing that?" No. And then when they would see him in it, he said they'd be sitting there going, and I got the face that he did. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's pretty. I mean, nobody else had done it, so I thought, you know what, I'll just go do it.
Oh, cool.
So.
He was one of my favorite parts of the movie. I
Oh
don't know. I
yeah.
don't know why. It's just it's
Well,
just
and
a funny character.
the other thing that made me laugh, and he'll explain it to you, but when he shot the cow, it
Uh-huh.
shows as if it was done like in the morning. But they'd called the guy to come out and do, and you know, out in the farming communities, they have that. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, we need to butcher this cow because of for whatever reason.
Uh-huh.
So he said, the lady said, hey, don't come out before my kids go to school. And so they did it when the kids were coming home from school.
Oh, okay.
And so it is true. And here's the kids driving by, and that guy just go bam, kill, and the kids are just like, wow. So pretty funny.
That was funny.
No, we'll wait till later, like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Wonder if the guy even timed it on purpose.
Yeah, who knows? That's funny if he did.
That's funny. So.
That's cool. So is he a pretty nice guy?
Oh yeah, he's super nice.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I went to talk to him the first time, he was kind of like, no. And then a little bit later, I talked to him and I says, you know, a lot of people ask about you, and so I really kind of want to, you know, portray what you're like. And
Uh-huh.
I says, I noticed that he had a bunch of soda pop that he liked to drink, and I says, I'll bring you a couple cases of this. And he goes, deal. So he's pretty simple. So, and lives by himself, and his wife passed away a while ago, and
Oh yeah.
so he's really a super nice guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the thing I love about Napoleon Dynamite is the town feels like the town that I grew up in Iowa. Like it's a really small town, like a lot of farmers and stuff. So
a lot of
thought that
those
was cool.
small towns are just a lot of simple people, and
and
don't think that they're better than everybody except for the ones that do.
Uh-huh.
So
how long have you been living out there?
let's see. I've lived in Idaho the majority of my life. I mean, I moved out to Denver area for about 18 months, but I grew up in Pocatello, and then we moved over to another place for about 18 months, and then we moved back down to Preston. I can't remember. It was like in the late 80s, mid 80s.
Oh wow.
So whoever's watching, don't be doing the math because I'm not happy about it either. So I ended up graduating from here, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm from here.
Yeah.
Because I spent more time here than I have anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, when I met you, I think you were living in Denver.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it was like in the mid 2000s. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was like 2004, 2005, something like that.
Sounds right. Yeah.
2006.
Yeah, I was at the Comedy Works.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that club.
Oh
actually, both clubs now.
Yeah.
So.
I remember I was there for a contest. I don't think I was in the contest. I think my friend was in the contest. And I remember everyone talking about Todd Johnson. Like you were on the list, and everyone's like, "Well, there's one spot right there, Todd Johnson."
Oh, for the new.
It was a new faces contest.
Because they did it different than a lot of other clubs that I've been in, but I mean they also had a whole lot of other people wanting to be a comic.
Uh-huh.
I just happened to. I started out in '98.
Okay.
So I had some time with me and some time headlining. And so when I went into that contest or whatever else like that, then it was, I can't say it was a shoe in because it's never a shoe in.
Yeah.
But I had more experience than other people that had been in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
where did you start out? You started out in '98, you said? I
started out in '98 in March, and it was a place called Laughs Comedy Club down in Ogden, Utah.
Oh, okay.
And after a little while, and what's interesting, I don't know how interesting it is, but I did it 3 or 4 times, and then I think the 4th or 5th time I tanked it. Terrible. Mm-hmm. Like where you just get up there and do stuff and you're so far off, and so nobody lasts for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I come off stage and I asked one of the comics there, I says, what did I do wrong? And he goes, I don't know, your timing was off or whatever else. And I just quit because I treated it like a team deal. Okay, now I've screwed up big enough that it's not going to be good for the comedy team, so to speak. So I quit for about a year.
Oh, wow.
And then it just drove me crazy that I just wanted to get back up on stage. So I went back, and Keith Stubbs, he let me back on, but he wanted me to take kind of a just take some lessons from this other guy. And a lot of people bark and say, you know, you can't teach comedy. No, but you could teach the basics and everything else and how to structure stuff. And then, you know, if the person has it, they do, and if they don't, then they don't. And you and I have both seen plenty of those that, you know, they've figured it out how to write, but it just doesn't come out right.
Yeah, it doesn't translate at all on stage. Yeah.
So then my dad had some health issues, and I stayed home during the summer, so I quit again. And when I came back, there was another guy that owned the place, and he told me, because he had started about the same time I did, and he told me, he goes, "You gonna stick around during the summer?" I said, "Dude, I'm busy during the summer." He goes, "Yeah, then don't bother coming on stage. I think you're funny, but you got to be here all the time just to get better. So don't take the time away from everybody else." And I'm okay. And so so that was the third time, and I stayed through it, and I guess so-called got better and learned how to do what I was doing, and then that club disappeared, and then Keith had moved back here to Utah, and I guess the mayor had said, "Hey, we need a club," and so he goes, "Well, help me find a building for it," and he did, and it's that was in 2001.
Okay.
So that guy Keith does a great job with his clubs. So he built another club across the street, and that's kind of considered my home club, I guess. But when I started going over to Comedy Works, that's another one of my home clubs. So it's just, and then I just kind of kept doing it. And then after a little while, somebody goes, "Do you realize that's one of the hardest forms of entertainment to get into?" And I said, "Yeah, now that I like it, you tell me that, that's great." But I mean, you've done it for, I can't remember how many years, but you're behind me. But
this is my 20th year. I started in 2001.
This your 20th year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're really pretty close. So it's, yeah, if it gets in your soul, you can't get it out.
Yeah. I've quit a few times and just can't do it.
And you just can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's, I don't want to say, you know, part of it is for me because it makes me feel better to do it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I've had some people come up after shows and say, you know, I didn't want to show up, but they made me go, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah.
Because you made me not think of my problems for the last hour.
Yeah. That's one of the best things to hear after a show.
And that's exactly where I go, well, that's why I do it then.
Yeah.
You know, and this COVID has really, you know, I know it plays hell on everybody, but I don't know how it does with you. It kind of depresses me until I'm able to get on a show. You know, so
it's been rough, man. Like especially the first 2 months, man. I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do shit. I didn't write. I just watched Netflix all night. That's all I would do. Sleep all day. And then I decided, you know, I saw one of my buddies, he's a musician, like he was online every day doing shows, like just doing all kinds of stuff. And I was like, I should be doing that, doing shit like that, you know? So I started a podcast, bought a bass, started learning how to play that. Like just, I sent in a writing packet to SNL, like all kinds of shit, you know, like just.
Oh, really? You've been pretty busy with that stuff.
Yeah. So
that's great, dude. I haven't.
Oh, really? Yeah, it helps a lot, man. It helps a lot. Like just writing and just, you know, trying to stay creative and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, part of my deal is, a lot of people go, "Why do you live where you live?"
Yeah.
And if I get somebody from California, which I've done this several times, it's like, "Why do you live up there? Don't you live down here?" "No, I live up there." "Why is that?"
Hmm.
"Because you guys don't."
Yeah.
And it's like, "But is it really nice up there?" I'm like, "No, it looks like hell. Go away." We don't want more people up here.
Yeah.
I got friends that move up there by Boise. I know that's their problem.
Uh-huh.
It's just and I really like this kind of mentality here.
Uh-huh.
But then I love to go out and do shows, and it doesn't matter where. You
Yeah.
still have some of your favorite places to go, and then you have some places that you just go, ah, well, I'll collect your check on this one,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I need one of the things I'm doing is I lost my mom a year and a half
Yeah.
ago, and my dad's just kind of sitting there, and so I make sure that he gets fed,
Hmm.
make sure, because I really kind of think he might be getting a bit of dementia too,
Oh,
because that's
really?
what my mom died from.
Yeah.
And he's lonely,
Hmm.
and so me and my other brother live there, kind of take turns doing stuff for him. And
That's cool.
so it's I I spent a bunch of time around my mom when she had that, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't
Hmm.
trade it for being, if I was able to go back and have a Comedy Central special or
Uh-huh.
become hugely famous or anything, I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my dad. So,
Yeah.
and after that happens, then if it does, then great. And if it doesn't, and I make people laugh, then good.
Hmm.
It'd be nice to be filthy rich, but I don't even really care.
Yeah. I'm the
I'd like
same
to
way,
have
man.
the
I
money
don't. Yeah. As
love
long
to
as
have the
I'm.
money that you just pay whatever you pay, and then
Yeah. I think being famous would be kind of annoying.
actually, yeah, I think so too. It's one of those ones where you just go, okay, well, I'll be nice to everybody, but I'd really like to go to where
Yeah.
there's nobody around.
Yeah.
So
Like it would be nice to have your own following and you can kind of do whatever you want to do, type of
yeah,
thing. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd like it that much.
I don't know, for whatever tiny little bit I've got,
Hmm.
uh, it's like when somebody notices you in a store,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've had that happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, and they get just a little bit of that starstruck stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
just relax. I'm just me.
Yeah.
Boy, if you knew what I was like, you'd go, oh, he's a little boring.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Like, uh, yeah, people always want to hang out with comics. It's like, we're really not that great.
We're, 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 and then we don't even like to hang out half the time with other comics because you're like, you're weirder than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is weird, and then you find a couple that you really like hanging out with, and that's always
Yeah.
nice. You know.
The one thing that made me laugh, I had a friend of mine that if she needed a place to stay, she could always stay at the house,
Hmm.
and then she'd come down to the comedy club with me. Well, there was a guy down there, and he's kind of a pretty boy, and he doesn't have to chase women. They just walk right up to him and give him their number,
Uh-huh.
which irritates me.
Yeah.
But she goes, "Why can't you set me up with him?" And I said, "No. Look, he's a good friend of mine, but you see how he acts on stage? Yeah, that's how he acts off stage.
Hmm.
So, as much as you think it's funny now, when you want him to grow up and be an adult, it ain't happening. I can guarantee he's been married 3 times by 2 different people. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's just, it's one of those deals that you just go, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to save you a little problem. She had a couple things of marriages too. So,
Oh really?
yeah, I says, I don't want you two getting married,
Yeah.
having her come back and go, why didn't you tell me he was such an a-hole? And I'm
Hmm.
like, you've seen it. So,
Yeah. So is Wise Guys the closest club to you now?
yeah, I got Wise Guys in Ogden, and then there's a Wise Guys downtown Salt Lake,
Okay.
and then one out in West Jordan, which
Oh,
is
cool.
on the west side of Salt Lake. So,
Nice.
and then he's got a club that's going down in Vegas.
Oh, really?
So
That's great.
that'll open up hopefully April.
Cool.
So
Did
And then the one
the
in
club
Boise.
in
What's
Boise
that?
close, didn't it?
Which one?
Did Liquid Laughs close down?
Yeah, it's as far as I know. I don't know if they're going to open it back up, but I do know that there's something else that's open up there, and I'm not
Oh,
sure
really?
what it is. Yeah. So I got to find out what it is.
Yeah.
I think he just, he had Liquid Laughs, and then he had the food place, which was solid, and they made great food there, but they was both connected, and I think he just had to shut down the whole comedy thing because
Oh,
there
yeah.
was nobody that could come and do anything. And then the
Yeah.
governor, or the mayor turned around and said, "Yeah, nobody get out of their house or whatever."
Mhm.
So it's been a tough year and a half.
Yeah.
I guess it hasn't been a full year yet, but
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Labs, which offers a huge variety of tests, including allergy testing, STD testing, prostate screening, diabetes monitoring, COVID 19 testing, and more. You simply choose your test, get tested, get your results, and get a doctor's interpretation virtually. It's easier than the hassle of making an appointment with your doctor. Call 505-609-LABS, visit southwestlab.com, or find them on social media at Southwest Lab for more information or to schedule a test today. With locations in Albuquerque and Las Cruces, Southwest Labs makes medical lab testing simple. Mention this ad when you schedule your appointment.
so it's. Are you able to do much time at all?
No.
No.
No, I've done a couple Zoom shows. Uh I September I was booked up pretty good. September and October, and then I had one thing in November, one thing in December. It seems like one thing a month pretty much, which
Right.
kind of sucks because
Yeah.
it doesn't help with your momentum at all, because like every time I go up I'm rusty,
Yes.
you just like I'm used to like being on stage every week and just, like you get so much better like,
Yeah.
just performing all the time. And
Yeah. And we're out in the west side, whereas if you go to New York or California when everything
yeah,
was open, then you had plenty of time to do shows every day if you wanted, or two or
yeah,
three times a day.
hmm
But whereas we got to polish what we've got
yeah,
for the end of the week.
yeah. Plus, we don't have comedy clubs in our towns. That
Right.
doesn't help. I
Yeah.
think the
It's
closest club
always.
to me is 4 hours away right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't even work there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to be back in. One of the things that I've noticed is, and I think everybody else has, is because of the way the COVID thing runs and
Mhm.
clubs are trying to open up, they're bringing some of the bigger names in, so it'll bring in and fill up their club.
Yeah.
And some of them are only halfway full, and
Uh-huh.
that's considered full, or a quarter or whatever else. But
Yeah.
Todd Johnson or Curt Fletcher might not bring in that many people
Uh-huh.
unless it's just like up here in Ogden. I'm see, when did I do something? I headlined back in March or May,
Mhm.
because this Utah's been open a lot more than most of everybody else.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so I've been able to go down and get some, stand time or 10 or 15 minute spots other than the headliner deal.
Mhm.
But right before I headlined, about 2 weeks before, one of my friends was there, and I went down and did some time, and I think they gave me like 10 or 15 minutes. And that first day, it was just like, I need some WD-40 because I am so rusty.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go home and that felt like crap. And so you work on whatever you're doing
Mhm.
to make sure that you're better the next day.
Mhm.
And so by the time it was better the next day, we're good.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I'm headlining, and they got one of the comics around that's he can be nice, and he could also be a pretty big a-hole. And
Mhm.
so he was my host, and as soon as he came off stage, I said, how was it? And he goes, I hope the I hope the crowd knew that I was not as good as what they thought I was, because they thought I were great and I was so rusty. And I
Oh
says,
yeah.
he says, I was pretty bad. And I just about said, yeah, we know. But I just shrug it off sometimes. But he did his stuff and he was really rusty and came back. And I wanted to say it, but I was like, no, I want to break his spirit right now. And the next day, I walked up before he went on stage and I says, did you practice all day? He goes, all day. I woke up early and all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, he came back off and I says, how was it? And he goes, way better. And
Yeah.
I did that a couple weeks ago again. And it's like you're rusty and then, okay, I'm ready to go again. And you study and I've got one of the comics who want me to come down and do some time on the show, which is nice to be asked because after you've been doing it for a while, no one wants to ask you to come up, and especially if they're newer
Mm-hmm.
or they got a lower energy in the in the room. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants to have to change that. And so this is nice that he asked me to come down and be on the show. So I get some time,
That's nice. Yeah.
but not every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of,
I headlined Laughs in Tucson like the day after Christmas. So
oh,
I had to drive. I had to get up early and drive out there. So that show was kind of rough,
hmm.
and
How far is it there from where
six and a
you're at?
half 6.5
Okay.
hour drive. And I'm not a
Yeah.
morning person at all,
Right.
especially right now. My sleep schedule is so messed up. So I had to get up super early and drive out there, and then pull off 45 minutes, which I hadn't done in a couple months.
Right.
So I was like listening to my comedy album on the way there.
I've done that. I've done that
And it went
before.
okay. It was just uh the flow wasn't there.
Right.
And I don't headline a lot at comedy clubs, so I'm not used to the check drop and stuff. Like, that
Right.
fucks with you a lot. So
Yeah.
I had to deal with that. And then so it wasn't like I didn't feel sharp. And then
Yeah.
so the next day, I just worked on it all day. And I was like, all right, once check drop, I'm gonna do this and this.
Right.
Made sure I was sharp for the Sunday night show.
Yeah.
And
No, that's
Sunday went
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's and again, a lot of people don't know that. You can be funny all the time,
Yeah.
but what if I don't feel funny?
Uh-huh.
You really have to work at that too. I've got a
Yeah.
few friends of mine that are not comics and that have they've seen my act enough and they've told me before. They says, like, right now I'm dealing with some back issues.
Mhm.
Trying to get I got to get some surgery done on my discs, and of course the doctor's telling me you need to lose weight. I'm like, you're an asshole too, but I don't verbalize it.
Mhm.
And I did do a diet for, remind me where I was at. I did do a diet for about 5 weeks. I did nothing.
Mhm.
So when I went back in to talk to the doctor, he told me, he goes, you really need to lose that weight. And I says, no, you don't. I says, my brother had the same surgery done, but you didn't tell him. And his was a little different. Maybe his was emergency, but technically you guys can do it.
Mhm.
Well, we only have so many instruments that'll go so deep. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Because if I'm eating something and I need a deeper or a bigger spoon, I go get a bigger spoon. Don't tell me
Mhm.
you've only got instruments this long. And so what I told him, I said, well, here's the deal. What happens if I go and lose a bunch of weight and it makes me so that I don't hurt anymore, so that I don't technically need to come back and get surgery? I guess you're not going to have a boat payment money to this month, are you? And he had his mask on, but I could see him kind of go, wow, that was
Uh-huh.
but it just came right off the cuff. And, but anyway, so my friends have told me, they says, sometimes when you're sitting on that stool or leaning up against it and you don't have the energy to walk back and forth because it hurts, sometimes that does pull some of the funny out of it. And I says, yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because some people do really good where they sit on a stool,
Uh-huh.
and me, I sit it there, and I'm not built real tall,
Yeah.
but I can sit up against that stool and do whatever I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll find out
Yeah.
if it
Yeah,
works.
I've been filming myself like all the time so I can like watch and see if I do anything that might like I try to look at it like I'm an audience member and see if there's anything
Yeah,
annoying that might take away from a joke or something like that.
yeah. Do you do that all the time now, or like
Yeah.
whenever you got shows?
Yeah.
I did that a long time ago, and I hate watching myself or
Oh, I do
listening to
too.
myself. Yeah, I think it's all our biggest pet peeve is we just don't
Yeah.
like to do that. But I remember I had a doctor's appointment, and he told me I can't go back to work. I need to go home. So I went and stopped at a place to buy a TV because I just moved in this place. So I bought a TV and a DVD VCR deal,
Hmm.
and they brought it in, set it up, and I thought, well, since I can't go anywhere, I might as well watch my video.
Hmm.
So I put it in there, and I honestly remember saying no one else was around, but I said it out loud. I went, if I was that guy, I would. Oh wait, I am that guy. Okay, so I'll do that. And I just remember that being funny to me, going, who are you talking to anyway?
Hmm.
But it does help you a ton
Oh yeah.
to do that, you know. And
I
sometimes
keep I keep my recordings too because in some places some jokes hit harder than others. So I keep track
right,
of that,
yeah,
which is kind of nerdy, but
no, but I mean it's smart.
yeah.
I actually had somebody because when I when I do my shows, I don't drop the f bomb.
Hmm.
I save that for driving because
Oh
that
yeah.
way people know what you're talking about. But I was doing that show over there in uh, Oregon at the casino,
Hmm.
and I can't remember what it is right now. Anyway,
Was it in Pendleton?
no, not in Pendleton, but it's one of the ones. Pat actually has it now,
Oh, okay.
and Tribble had it another time before. Um, but anyway, I did that show, and there was two shows there, and so the second one, when these people, a whole bunch of people came in for a birthday party, and it was being loud, and I'm trying to be nice, and I know I really can't, get too upset with them, but I kind of, hey, what? A lot of people were sitting here listening. Well, why don't you tell a joke? I says, I just told a whole bunch of them. Everybody else laughed, but you, it was only like that. And then I says, you guys don't have to be here. It's a free show. So if
Hmm.
you don't like what I do, that's fine. You can go and I'll wait for you. So they did. A few people left. And I says, I'm glad you guys stayed and blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the ladies in that group told the booker that I went up to her after the show and called her a bunch of F and this and F and that. And I says, first off, that ain't true because me and the other comic got stuck talking to somebody for an hour. And, so it was stuff like that. So if you have that stuff, or you said this on stage, or then when you have your stuff that you have, you go, I can go right back here and show you where I did not say F you or say, I hope your children die in a car accident or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people go, oh, I can't believe you say it. I can't believe some people would be as rude as they are.
Hmm.
You know, for the most part, I would rather just do my stuff and be happy
Yeah.
and not. I really try hard not to fight with people.
Hmm.
But I don't know about you. I mean, I don't have a problem putting them in their place.
Oh yeah. I usually just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, well, you're smarter than I am. Then I've I used to kind of jump on them, but I
Yeah.
realized, man, you got to fight the crowd back,
Hmm.
come back to the show.
Yeah.
And so I found one lady. She was just too drunk. I said, hey, can you kind of be quiet because everybody paid to get in the show? And a little bit later, I'm like, hey, can you? So about the third time, I says, look, I've already asked you. I know you want to be quiet, but you don't have the ability. And she goes, "Oh, well, I was going to leave." And I leaned up against the wall and went, "I'll wait." And that worked out pretty good. But,
Nice.
and then people come up afterwards and they says, "We've seen other people tear into audience members, and we're really glad you didn't do it."
Uh-huh.
Like that. I was still mad about it here. But once they said that, I was like, okay, well, it worked out for my benefit. So, but that's not how I felt at first.
Oh, for sure.
So, but you said, have you got shows coming up soon? Is that what you said?
I'll be in Birmingham next month.
Is that for which one? Which club is that?
The Stardome.
I've never done that one. I've always
I've
wanted
never
to do
done it
that
either.
one.
Yeah.
Let me know how here's what I've heard. I hear it's a big room.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, in those big rooms, you don't feel like somebody's listening.
Yeah.
But they're listening, but it's just a huge comedy room that you go, holy cow, I hate this place because but they're laughing and they're, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about the club. So
yeah, that's the only thing I heard derogatory about it was that, and they also said that they do sell a lot of merch.
Oh, cool.
So that's great.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure I've got a bunch of merch then.
Is it the same people booking or?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's the same guy that's owned it since it started. Because he
okay.
He helped out. What was his name? Steve Harvey. He helped Steve Harvey get started.
Okay.
Like Steve Harvey was like living in his car and stuff.
Yeah. Have you heard that one deal when he was down in Florida and they called him to come up to New York to do these shows?
I don't think so.
I'll have to send it to you. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
He doesn't have the money to go up, and then all of a sudden, when he gets off the phone, then somebody calls him and says, "Hey, can you do this and this, and we'll pay you this much money?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, that'd be great." And so he gets there and then has to do another show, so he ended up getting paid more, because he flew up there and that paid for his plane ticket. And then when he got there, he didn't have a place to stay or anything like that. So he asked if he could stay in the back of in the green room.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So he stayed there in the deal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It makes you go, okay, he's driven the roads that we've driven.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I can talk about comedy all day. I love this.
Yeah. Who are some of your favorites growing up, Todd?
I was a huge Bill Cosby fan because of the way, and just because of the way that he would do his comedy, not his other stuff. But I was always amazed at how he could tell a story and tell a portion and then stop and hold and do something and hold and do something else and hold and then go, okay, you can laugh now, not yet, okay, now. And that always amazed me. And so I've never thought when I was younger, hey, I want to be a comic, but I wanted to be able to do that and hold somebody's attention. I did like who was it? George Carlin.
Yeah.
And I did like when the Blue Collar Boys came out. I mean, I only knew Jeff at the time, and then I heard on the radio one time one of Bill Engvall's bits, and I about wrecked my car. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's the one where he talks about Preparation H.
Oh yeah,
you heard
yeah.
That one. Oh my word! I about laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. And so, trying to think of who else. I did used to like to watch Johnny Carson and Jay Leno when he got in there.
Yeah. Carson was one of my favorite late night guy. He was just so good at getting a laugh, even if the joke didn't hit. That was always Johnny Carson.
Oh yeah. And then if he didn't, he pulled the face or whatever. Like the really uncomfortable look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always made me laugh.
Yeah, I love that.
But then he had so many different, I really used to like who was the guy that came up lately. I've been having a hard time remembering stuff, but he used to come up when Frank uh, Sinatra would be on,
Oh,
and he used
Rickles.
to make yeah. Rickles used to kill me because
Yeah.
you could tell that he's slamming people left and right, but then he would come back and go, "Thank you very much, I appreciate."
Uh-huh.
And then when he was doing stuff out down in Vegas, he would come back and buy the couples dinner.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the stuff that I really like that makes me really like comedy is about making people laugh and everything else. But
Mhm.
when you find out something about the comic himself,
Mhm.
about how, and not every one of them are like this, but some of them that are very giving
Yeah.
and very just they're great people.
Mhm.
Again,
Did you ever hear
not
that?
everybody.
Have you heard that story about him and Frank Sinatra? Um, I think Rickles was like, it was like when he was first dating his wife or something, and
Oh,
he asked Frank if he would come by and say hi, just to make him look better. Have you heard that
yeah,
story?
yeah. It was his mom is who he was.
Was
And
it his
she was
mom?
always,
Okay.
yeah, she was always like, "Look, Frank Sinatra's over there." And just, hey, hold on, I'll just go talk to him for a second. And he goes and tells him, he says, "Hey, Frank, my mom's over here with me. It'd be really great if you'd actually stop by at the table and say hello." And then when he turns around and he stops by and he goes, "Hey, Rickles, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, can't you see me and my mom are trying to have a meal here?" And Frank stood there, and then he lost it because that's just Rickles.
That's so funny,
That,
man.
that is
Yeah.
such a funny bit. And to have the guts to be able to do that,
Yeah, for sure.
you know. I know. Oh, geez, I'm really having a hard time. Brad Garrett, because he
Mhm.
started really young.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you've ever seen his act.
I've never seen the stand-up.
It's kind of like Rickles type thing.
Okay.
When he would start, and I'm trying to remember who he used to open for, but he would say some of that stuff to some really up and up people
Oh, really?
where he could come up missing.
Yeah.
And he just said some of that stuff, and the right people liked him. And
Huh.
so I've worked
Yeah.
that club once, and I really loved it.
In
And there's
Vegas?
so many people, yeah, but there's so many people that want to work it.
Yeah. I know he fired a friend of mine because my friend's a Trump supporter. Kind of a shitty
So
deal,
you
but
see that kind of stuff. You just kind of have to keep your mouth shut if you want to, if you're Trump or if you're not, or you're.
yeah.
I know he absolutely doesn't like Trump, so
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't talk about politics in his act at all. So
yeah,
I don't know.
they probably just had a conversation, and he doesn't like him now.
Yeah.
So which is sad. That's too bad.
It is, man. It's like, yeah, that's why I don't post shit about politics, and you
Right.
know, I don't want to lose jobs over it. It's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
It's like none of these
Yeah.
politicians give a fuck about me, so why should I lose
Right.
work over them?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's
So
just
where can people find you online, Todd? We got to wrap up here pretty quick. Quick, but
I had a website there for a while, but I've got to get it back up.
okay,
But they can find me on my Facebook page, which is Todd Johnson Comic.
okay.
There's no spaces because when I was doing it, I didn't know you could.
Oh yeah,
So, and then I've got it one that's Comedian-Todd Johnson, and
okay.
I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm on what's the new TikTok? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit on there.
Okay, cool.
So
And then YouTube, you're on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube.
Okay.
And
I want to see
some of
that video with that guy from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it's on there. I think it's under Todd Johnson Comic, or I've
Cool.
got 2 or 3 that are all kind of tied, but so
Yeah.
Comedian Todd Johnson or Todd Johnson Comic or whatever. Or I'll send it to you.
Cool. Yeah. I'd love to see
So
that. Do you mind if I add a clip from that onto this video for the podcast?
no, that's great.
Okay, cool.
I'd love to see more people get to see it.
Yeah,
This guy's
absolutely.
really super nice. So
Cool. That's awesome.
but,
Well, yeah, thanks for taking the time to do this, man. I really appreciate it.
anytime, buddy.
I know
We
it's kind of a
always
pain in
been
the
friends.
ass, but
Now we've been friends for a while. So
That's been a long time, man. It's great.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
It's fun being able to chat because sometimes I sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah. So, I hear you,
then
man.
I'm like, I should do something, and then I'm like, nothing seems funny right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope we cross paths again soon, man.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be nice.
Oh. All right.
All right, you take care, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Man. Okay.
All right, take care, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
First off, tell me how you actually got in with Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, Jared stopped out in front. My daughter just gone out the mailbox.
Okay.
And he said, would Dale be in my movie? She said, I don't think so, no. She said, but you'd better ask him. He come over and he said, I need a favor. And I said, sure. I said, what would I need to do? And he said, just shoot a cow. I said, well, I can do that.
Everybody drinking? Yeah? Any designated drivers at all? I always have to ask because it's always like whoever drank the least gets to drive, get in the truck, move the dog. I've been playing designated driver for years. I do it for a couple reasons. First, I don't like to drink. Second, I don't have anybody that could pick me up if I fell down. Not so much I play designated driver, I play designated watcher because my buddies get drunk, get the beer goggles, start looking at me, see if the girls are still good looking. I feel like a referee sitting in the back going, no good, face mask, she's got a mustache, double bagger, second down. Oh, you been there? I got another buddy hitting on some girl. Brush her off. She's been around the bases too many times. I think she's got crabs. I get one guy hitting on a cross-dresser. Personal foul. Too many men on the field. Safety first. 4 balls. Take a walk. Let's go.
All right, that was a lot of fun talking to Todd Johnson. Good dude. If he's in your area, go check him out. Very funny. Not much going on. Doing Birmingham, the Stardome, March 11th through the 14th. I'll be at the Tower City Comedy Festival in Paris, Texas, March 26th and 27th. And then I booked some stuff in June. I don't really have to talk about that now because it's still far away. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Check out the website, intherightpodcast.com. Also, if you go to funnyfletcher.com/store and want to order anything off of there, type in the promo code In the Right Podcast. That's all capitals, no spaces. Get 10% off, which is a great deal, in my opinion. Also, special thanks to John Singleton of Anesthesia for outro music. They're working on a new album right now, which I'm super excited about. I think it's their 5th album, and it's going to be badass. They're recording it right now. Also, special thanks to Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup for the intro music. And they recorded a new album last year, which should be out sometime this year. And hopefully they'll get to go on tour and promote it. And if they do, go see them. All right, thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.